5-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another post-game live here on Dime Dropper, this time for the 2025 World Series. Before we get started, you already know the drill. Make sure you subscribe on Dime Dropper for all things LA sports with a focus on LA basketball. And ladies and gentlemen, of course, you can follow me on social media, although my Twitter is still hacked. Hopefully I get that fixed. We have just finished the second longest game in World Series history after the 2018 game. I believe it was game 3 against the Boston Red Sox, or was it game 4? I don't even remember. The one that Max Muncy hit a walk-off home run in the 18th inning with another walk-off home run by Freddie fucking Freeman for the second straight year. What a statistic to be the only player in the history of the World Series to hit 2 walk-off home runs. I said last year, build that fucking statue right now. I am down to start a GoFundMe for it tomorrow. Freddie Freeman. I mean, what a game. You want to talk about team effort? We're live from Los Angeles, as always, home of the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers, and hopefully soon to be back-to-back world champion Los Angeles Dodgers after an 18-inning slugfest against the Toronto Blue Jays. What a game this was. And, of course, Freddie Freeman ends it with the solo home run. And it was, yes, the 2018 World Series Game 3. But my goodness. And it's funny that it was game 3, just like right now. Shout out to my members out here. Bones got busy. Danny Sanchez. If you want to be a member of the channel, you are entitled to special perks. We'll have a giveaway at 25 members and 50 members. And of course, you're entitled to a members only live every single Wednesday at noon Pacific. That'll be talking about, it will be a call-in where you can talk to me and we can talk about other NBA teams, because this channel is Laker and Clipper focused, or you can ask me anything else. But back to the Dodgers right now, man. Wow, I'm out of breath. I'm really out of breath. 6-5 Dodgers, another 18-inning game 3 7 years later, another Freddie Freeman walk-off home run 1 year later after we obviously had game 1 last year against the Yankees. But this game was a total team effort. We went through the whole bullpen to the point where it was going to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitching again after he just pitched last game. Like, that's how crazy this was getting. We were talking about what position player is going to take the mound next. And we got to give a shout out to everyone. Tyler Glasnow and all the pitchers tonight. It went from Tyler Glasnow to Bidi Bidi Banda to Robleski to Blake Trinan to Dreyer to Roki to Emmett Sheehan, who I thought was great, to Clayton Kershaw. How big was that out? I was sweating bullets when he came up because I just didn't want Kersh to be the one that cost us the game and got scapegoated for the loss. And then Enriquez, man, he was throwing 2 innings of absolute heat, 30 pitches. In terms of Sheehan, he threw 37. And then I think a guy who you can argue was the player of the game tonight. I mean, everyone's going to talk about Freddie, but Will Klein. 4 innings, 72 pitches, 5 strikeouts. He had never pitched, according to Joe Davis, over 30 pitches in a game. He had never thrown over 30 pitches, and he pitched 72. He threw 72 pitches. That's a starting pitcher count. What a performance by him. And there was a shaky moment there in the top of the 18th, but my goodness. I mean, our offense was a slugfest. It felt like, literally, I've never felt like this in baseball, but it legit felt like Shohei is carrying our offense at times. The 2 home runs, both solo shots, and then we obviously have him getting walked. Was it 5 consecutive times? 5 consecutive times. It only lists Shohei as having 4 at-bats, but he literally got walked. I mean, can somebody check that for me? How many times did this dude get walked? Was it 4 times? Was it 5 times? I don't know how to read this, this box score, because it only says 4 at-bats, but he got walked so much. It was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's the game you'll just never forget. Money absolutely well spent for all the fans that ended up attending. Oh my God, I'm out of breath myself. 6-hour game. 6-hour game, dude. 6 hours and 39 minutes. Was that not the longest game ever? It had to have been close to that other one. My God. I mean, Jesus. And a shout out to my guy over here, Phoenix Gen Z, Toronto fan. He said, I want to die after watching that game. Yeah, imagine a Toronto fan staying up till like 3 a.m. to watch that game to lose. I mean, oh my goodness. Freddie Freeman, dude. Let's look at, I want to see how long that Red Sox game in the World Series was, because this was close to that. This was really close to that. Jesus. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just out of breath. Freddie Freeman is an actual GOAT. I mean, obviously, we know what he did for Atlanta for so many years, but to come here and to have two moments like that, obviously, game one last year against New York, and then do this, I mean, it's just unbelievable. It truly is. No, that one was 7 hours and 20 minutes. So this was the second longest game in World Series history. But wow. Wow, wow, wow. To give you a little summary of the game. And by the way, it's also amazing that our bullpen ended up getting this done, because last year it was the starting pitching was banged up. Tyler Glasnow had a great year, and then he didn't even end up pitching in the playoffs. Yamamoto was one of our big signings. He ended up getting hurt early in the season, and then in the playoffs, he was amazing. Walker Buehler was hurt like the whole year, and then he clutched up in the playoffs. Obviously, famously got that final out that won us the World Series. But it was all about the bullpen last year, the bullpen dogs, Blake Trinan, Alex Vesia, all those guys. And this year, it's been the bullpen pups, as I've called them. They have not been dogs. They've been the shakiest part of our team. And they've performed pretty well in this postseason. They've had some shaky moments. It's been the starting pitching, though, that's really been the star, right? It's the starting pitching has been the star. And I don't know if I could say the bullpen has been good, but the bullpen has been better than we thought it would be. We were very nervous about it all as Dodger fans, but they have performed. Blake Trinan obviously has had a shaky year, but he had that huge game. I think it was game 1 against Milwaukee where he came up extremely clutch. It might have been, yeah, it was game 1. But and then Roki Sasaki. I mean, without him, where would we be? He's been the revelation in the postseason, where we got him to be a starting pitcher, and he had injuries all season long, kind of like Yamamoto last season. And then he comes in and he just becomes our closer. So my goodness, I mean, I'm super proud of this team right now. 2 games away from going back to back. I don't know if I want us to win the championship in Halloween, because I got somewhere to be on Halloween. And I don't know if I'm going to be there if it's 3-1 and we got a chance to win, because there's always going to be Halloween parties. There's not that many years we're going to be in the World Series, baby. But let me just tell you this. I checked this stat yesterday because I was very curious. The Dodgers have not won a World Series in LA since 1963. We have not won a World Series at Dodger Stadium since 1963. So essentially, there are people that are over 50 that have never seen the Dodgers win a World Series at home. So this would be a momentous occasion. But it would be cool to win a game 6. Oh, no. Game 6 would be oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm okay if we win on Wednesday. It would be game 6. If we win game 6, it would be on Halloween. So I'll be totally fine if we win. Let's just wrap it up on Wednesday. I got a men's league game, and I'm willing to miss it, even though I've been balling low-key. I'm going to show you my highlights. I've been balling low-key in that men's league. But we can win the World Series on Wednesday. However, we just got to focus on tomorrow right now. It's going to be, I'm guessing, Shohei pitching, right? It seems like that's been the order. Snellzilla, Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Shohei. But oh my God, man, I just got to take a deep breath. Our offense our bats have been kind of sus in the postseason, man. Our bats have been sus. Like last year, it was our bats that were amazing, our bullpen dogs, and then our starting pitching just clutched up in the playoffs. And they've been injured all year. We didn't have Shohei pitching, but this year it's been the starting pitching's been a star. The bullpen has stepped up in the postseason, and our hitting hasn't even been great. But Shohei, I mean, that game that I went to, if you haven't checked out that vlog, it's one of the best vlogs I've ever done, just for the momentous occasion. 31,000 views. Bones got busy. Hit the chat with the link right now. I think it's in my top 5 most viewed videos of all time, at least top 6. And to get at least one of the home runs on video. And the moment we won the World Series on video, won the NL pennant on video, that was special. I'd been to two NLCS games in my life, but I'd never been to a clincher. So that was just special to be at that game. But 2 games away, man, 2 wins away from going back to back. I've never seen any of my favorite sports teams go back to back. I saw the LA Kings win 2012 and 2014. I saw my Chelsea win in 2015 and 2017, the Premier League, but I've never seen any of my sports teams go back to back. So this is very foreign for me, but we have an incredible opportunity to send Clayton Kershaw off into the sunset with the World Series title and to just go back to back for the first time in baseball for 20 plus years, with the Yankees doing it in the early 2000s, which was before I was even able to, because I'm 27 right now. I wasn't even watching sports back then. So that tells you how rare it is in baseball to go back to back. I mean, it would be an amazing, amazing accomplishment. And, I obviously don't have nearly the amount of nerves I did last year, I'll be honest. And I think many Dodger fans can relate. And I think also partially because I'm a Clipper fan. I'm not a Laker fan, bro. I'm a Clipper fan. And I know, please, there's going to be some people that say, how could you be a Dodger fan and a Clipper fan? Here's the very simple answer to that. There's 1 baseball team in LA County, and there's 2 basketball teams in LA County. That's your answer. The Clipper tickets were cheaper. I started watching in 2006. Kobe had a bunch of bums on his team outside of Lamar Odom, and we had a better team than the Lakers. Cheaper tickets, we were a better team. I was my first year watching basketball. I became a Clipper fan. But most Clipper fans are Dodger fans. So that the Clipper fans and the Laker fans come together for the Dodgers. Of course, the Lakers and the Dodgers are the 2 most popular teams in the city. That goes without saying. But no, I witnessed the Lakers go back to back in 09 and 10. Special teams, Kobe, Pau Gasol. But none of my teams have ever gone back to back because I'm a Clipper fan. And maybe because I'm a Clipper fan, I obviously I'm kind of the mentality that as long as I see one of my favorite teams, as long as I see my favorite team win a championship before I die, each one, I'm satisfied. So hypothetically, if the Dodgers were to never win a championship till I die, I would still be satisfied and thankful that I was a Dodger fan and cherish the 2024 World Series. So I'm not nearly as nervous this year as I was last year. I'm kind of like, if we win, amazing. I'm still a little bit nervous, but if we lose, man, I'll be sad, of course, but it's not the end of the world. We just won the World Series last year. Beggars can't be choosers. And you know what? We're going to compete for a number of years. We got the best baseball player of all time on our team. We've got Mookie Betts locked up. We've got a bunch of guys locked up for the future. We're going to be contenders for years to come. We own the NL West. So I'm not even that nervous, to be honest with you. But that being said, you have to cherish when you're in the World Series, when any of your teams are in a championship. Yeah, see, this guy says I'm a Clipper, Dodger, Raider fan. So there you go. You have to cherish when you're in the World Series because you never know when you're going to be back. I just said we have this amazing team. We're going to be competing every year for the foreseeable future, but you just never know. So, hey, I appreciate this comment. Someone says, my bad, bro. I didn't know you were a Clipper fan. I'm a diehard Laker, Dodger, Kings. I'm Kings, Dodgers, Clippers. May your Clippers win a chip one day. I appreciate that, man. That's the thing. We come together for the Dodgers. I think that's what makes the Dodgers right now LA's biggest team. I think historically it's the Lakers, given the Showtime days and everything like that. Basketball is the number 1 sport in LA, and it's not even close. But the Dodgers, especially right now with how expensive Laker tickets are and the run that they've been on since Guggenheim took over, I think right now there's no question the Dodgers run LA more than any other team. But wow. Wow. I'm not as nervous this year. So if we somehow lose this series, it's not the end of the world for me. I'll be sad for a day or 2, and then we'll be back next year. It's now that we won last year in such special fashion, especially when Fernando Valenzuela passed away, and then beating both New York teams, and then feeling like it was going to be another choke job into the Padres, and then we did that. And I was, at Tom's when we won, and you can check out that video on my channel. It's also one of the most popular videos I've ever done, celebrating in the streets of downtown, being at the parade. That video needs more views, by the way. I mean, my goodness, it was an absolutely special feeling, especially because the 2 World Series losses I had were when I was in Massachusetts for college. So even if we had won those World Series, I wouldn't have even been able to celebrate it with the people. So I just cherish this. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be too spoiled. If we win, we win. I'll be over the freaking moon. And if we lose, it'll be disappointing, but it is what it is. We'll be back next year. But that being said, what a game. Let's talk about how it happened. It started with Teoscar Hernandez with another postseason home run, 412 feet in the bottom of the 2nd inning. It was a solo shot to make it 1-0. Shohei doubled our lead in the bottom of the 3rd with a home run, 389 feet. And then Alejandro Kirk hit a 3-run homer. And this is where it would have been a bad loss for Tommy Edman because he had that error that allowed Bichette to be safe at first. Is it Bichette or Bichet? I don't know. And Vlad Guerrero to be safe at third. And it allowed 3 runs to be scored when it really would have only been 2. So that was huge. And then they had a sacrifice fly. So they had a 4-run 4th inning and to go up 4-2. And we, crawled our way back. Shohei with the RBI double that allowed Kike Hernandez to score after he had singled to center field, made it 4-3. And then Freddie Freeman, was 2 RBIs tonight, single to right. Shohei scored to tie the game at 4. And then in the top of the 7th, when we had Wrobleski pitching, Bichette single to right and Guerrero scored, make it 5-4. And then Shohei tied the game right away in the bottom of the 7th. And then we had the incredible revolving door of pitchers and relief pitchers on both sides. Dreyer got it done in the 8th for us. Then Roki got it done in the 9th for us. Then Emmett Sheehan went the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. And then Clayton Kershaw got that last out with, I believe the bases were loaded, right? Because Alejandro Kirk walked. Heineman went to second because he pinch ran for Kirk. And then we had an intentional walk. So it was runners on first and second. And then, we had the infield single. The bases were loaded, and Clayton Kershaw got that huge out, which was big time. Just to have Clayton Kershaw have any kind of fingerprints on this win is awesome, because if we do end up winning the World Series, he really did play a part in it in some way, because every game counts, of course, in a postseason run. And then Enriquez pitched in the 13th, no runs, 14th, no runs. And then Will Klein took the 15th, 16th, 17th, and then the 18th. Unbelievable. And it's funny because for the Blue Jays, what's his name? Lauer, he was dealing, man. He was totally dealing. And then it was Little who allowed the home run to Freddie Freeman. So, yeah, Bichette, unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Oh, my goodness. What a win, ladies and gentlemen. What a win. Dodgers up 2-1. I just hope we get it done, dude. I just hope we get it done. Now I'm going to shift gears a little bit. Laker Nation, I have not watched the last 3 games, so I deeply apologize. I was planning on, after the Dodger game, watching one of the Laker games and then talking about it tonight, but it just went so long, I couldn't do that. But let's talk about real quick for the Clipper fans that are in here. Clippers versus Blazers last night. It was a game that I wasn't able to be at, of course, because I had an AAU tournament. But the Blazers are a young team that, is going to cause some teams problems with their defense. And the Clippers are an old team. So you know that every young team that plays them is going to put pressure on them and try to be physical and run them out the gym. And to start the game, and by the way, with Bradley Beal out with that lower back injury, we had Bogdanovich starting in place of him. So that's the beauty of the Clippers team this year, is we have so much depth. Bogey started the game guarding Drew Holiday, James Harden on Toumani Camara, Kawhi Leonard on Denny Avdia, Ivica Zubac on Donovan Clingan, Derek Jones Jr. on Shaden Sharp. And then you had Camara on Kawhi, Drew Holiday on James Harden, not Donovan Clingan. It's Donovan Clingan, yeah, on Ivica Zubac, Denny Avdia on Bogey, and Shaden Sharp on DJ. Clingan, Zoo, and Young Hansen were all in drop coverage, and I loved how aggressive Kawhi Leonard was early in this game. I've been talking about getting Kawhi going early in games and not just like running high pick and roll with Zoo and Harden and Kawhi feeling like a role player till like the second quarter or later in the game. This game, he was getting pick and roll reps early. He was getting into his mid-range early. And the thing about Kawhi is, and I talked about this on Locked On Clippers today, if you're playing drop coverage on Kawhi, the guy that's guarding point of attack better be getting around those screens, or your big has to not drop too deep, because if he's just walking into mid-ranges, that's suicidal if you're a defense. So I thought he got off to a really solid start. And it was the first game this season that the Clippers in these first 3 actually got off to a good start, because we didn't get off to a good start against Phoenix, and Utah, it was a complete abomination. So I loved how aggressive Kawhi was. Ivica Zubac also looked more like himself, got 2 blocks and helped defense early in the game. And somebody who I feel has been awesome so far for us, John Collins. 6 points immediately when he came in, one up and under in the post, another breakaway dunk, and then James Harden got a steal. Oh, well, James Harden got a steal and threw it to Collins for that dunk, and then he had a nice tip in, which capped off an 11-2 run for us that put us up 27-18. I thought James Harden also played a really solid game, and it started right away. He was scoring, he was getting assists, just doing a little bit of everything. So we were up 34-23 after the first quarter, held the Blazers to just 30% shooting in the first. But that was just the first quarter, because Portland, I mean, they responded with a second quarter where they outscored us 37-21. And by the way, Portland did not score for 4 minutes in that first quarter. James Harden played the whole first quarter, and we did that same strategy we did against Phoenix, where we didn't go with a total bench unit. We had Harden with 4 bench players, and then we took Harden out and put Kawhi in with the bench and still played 10 guys. And when Kawhi came in with the bench in the second quarter, he didn't touch the ball for the first 2.5 minutes. And what Portland did was they went with a small ball lineup that switched 1 through 5. And when you do that, first of all, to take away the advantage that you're getting from the Chris Paul, Brook Lopez pick and pop. Because when you're switching that with wings, is Brook Lopez going to be able to post up an athletic wing in year 18? I don't know. Is Chris Paul going to be able to blow by somebody in year 21? Doesn't look like it. And he's been struggling with switch everything defenses for a couple of years now. So if that's the case, you got to go to Kawhi and try to mismatch hunt with him. So that switch everything defense made us be a little bit more stagnant, and we started missing shots, and the Blazers took advantage of every single miss. The offense for the Clippers is going to be very important this season, because we need to score points to set our defense, because our set half-court defense is good, but our transition defense is going to be ass, partially because Harden doesn't give a shit about transition defense. He just never gets back, never tries. And his defense has been awful to start the season. Awful. He's getting blown by left and right. He has a couple of steals, but he's been horrific defensively the first couple of games, even for his standards. It's just been a cone. And in transition, he doesn't even try. Kawhi, Beal, they're on the older side. So the only guys I can really trust to run back are Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., and Nico Batum, really. Chris Paul is going to be lazy getting back too. So every team is going to, when they create misses on the Clippers, push, push, push. Denny Avdia, he's been off to a great start to this season, shooting the ball really well. He's improved every single year. Had a moment where he had a nice 3 and an and 1 on back-to-back possessions in that second quarter. And then the Blazers' length and ball pressure really caused us problems. They were picking us up full court and caused 8 turnovers with their length. 8 turnovers. And partially we were very careless and loose with the ball. But 3 guys got cookied, just straight up the ball stolen from them in that second quarter. One was James Harden, one, which is very rare, by the way. One was John Collins, and the other was Derrick Jones Jr., who, by the way, should just not be bringing up the ball anymore. But Chris Dunn, he had 2 floaters in that second quarter. That was nice to see. I thought he's been playing pretty well offensively to start the season. If Chris Dunn plays good offense, then we're in good shape, because defensively, you know what he's going to do. Chris Paul, on the other hand, can't say the same. He's been struggling to guard without fouling. There was one time where even on a made bucket, Drew Holiday came up and just blew by him like it was nothing. And, as I said, the switch everything unit kind of negated his advantage. When James Harden came back in the game, he got blown by real quick, which put the defense in rotation. Portland got a tip in, and then he got cookied by Wesley for an and 1, which capped off a 14-0 run for Portland. We could not guard without fouling. We were not hitting shots. They were pushing pace. Wesley changed the game with his downhill speed and defensive aggression. And as I said, we turned the ball over 8 times in the second quarter, mixed with the fact that we were 1 for 6 from 3 in the second, and Kawhi was 1 for 6 from the field in the second. And most of them were decent shots, but I thought we got a little bit 3 happy at one point. And they went on a 23-2 run in that second quarter. Thankfully, Ivica Zubac kind of weathered the storm a bit later in the quarter with a floater, a little jump hook, and then some free throws. But the Blazers shot 50% from 3 in the second quarter and 12 free throw attempts in the quarter. And so the funny part was we were shooting 51% from the field, but we turned the ball over so much that the Blazers were winning at halftime 60-55. We got outscored 37-21 in the second. And I thought the only thing I could say in terms of like coaching stuff was, what's it called? I thought John Collins should have played more in the first half, but In the second half, he got his, adequate amount of minutes. Transition D is going to be the death of us, says Danny Sanchez. And I agree. I think that, and obviously, that correlates directly with our age. Noel Coffee says F the Clippers. I'm guessing he's a new subscriber or new listener or whatever. I got to customize the video, make it so that we have only subscribers commenting, because I know I don't want to clickbait people. I was talking about the Dodgers, but all right. Then it's in the second half. Chris Dunn started instead of Bogey, which I thought that was a pretty good change, because Bogey was not doing anything at all. He was a pedestrian. Bones Got Busy says boxing out will be the death of the Clippers. I agree. Our effort on the glass has been pathetic in the first couple of games. Like, outside of John Collins and Zoo, no one's boxing out. It's going to really hurt us. It's going to really hurt us. I mean, it's not an optional thing when it comes to winning basketball games at any level. In terms of what weathered the storm, though, in the third quarter, I think James Harden did. He did a really good job of getting 2 feet in the paint consistently and created plays for everybody, whether it be dump offs to Zoo, finishing himself. He had a nice step back 3 to end the third, kicking it out to Kawhi. And Zoo was just looking like Zoo. One thing I've been monitoring is, has his weight loss impacted his ability to body guys in the post? Last night didn't seem like it. He was really solid, and especially when the Blazers were playing with that small lineup, that's when you got to go to Zoo in the post. When they have no true big man in there, that's when you got to go to Zoo in the post. But I thought Harden did a really good job getting 2 feet in the paint and got us back in the game. And we went on an 11-2 run to tie the game at 68. Kawhi hit 3 threes, including one beautiful step back with a hand in his face. And another thing I loved about Zoo, and I've talked about this so much over the years, when Zoo is dunking and throwing it down with authority, that's when you know he is on a different type of time. And he had some beautiful dunks in this game. And someone else who I thought had a really solid impact as well, and the stat line wouldn't show it, is Nico. A beautiful high-low to Zoo under the basket in that third quarter, and a chase down block, and a nice one-on-one possession that forced a turnover where a player on the Blazers, I forget who, just threw it away completely because Nico was clamping his ass. So really good stuff in that quarter from our big three and Zoo. So third quarter, we outscored the Blazers 32-22. Clamp down, and the Blazers offense is not that good. And that's going to be something that's interesting to watch with Portland. They don't have a clear-cut best player. It's either Drew Holiday, Denny Avdia, or like Shaden Sharp. Right now, I'm leaning towards Denny Avdia, the way he's playing. So if you think about it, do we have 3 better players than their best player? You could argue that. Easily, Kawhi and Harden would be their best player. Zoo, maybe. I think Zoo would be their best player too, honestly. But they're going to be a tough out because they defend. And they beat the Lakers tonight. I'll talk about that, hopefully in the next coming days. But in the fourth quarter, Bogey, who had not shot in the whole game, Brian Seaman was like, Bogey has never shot less than 3 times in a game. And he just ends up shooting 2 shots right away, and they were both not even close. I don't think he did anything. I think he was poor defensively. I think he was a pedestrian on offense. He didn't look great. He kind of validated my take about, if there's an 11th man that doesn't play, it's going to have to be Bogey when everyone's healthy. And I like Bogey. Like, no disrespect. He's a very solid basketball player, but we're just really stacked. But the thing is, Beal's going to miss games. He's already going to miss the game against Golden State on Tuesday. So you're going to get more Bogey, which is fine. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we do have 11 players, because someone's going to miss games and someone else can step in for them. Finally, Chris Paul in the fourth quarter had a field goal into it. So that was great to see. 2 open threes. Something that I thought was interesting was that Brook Lopez was actually switching on to forwards for the Blazers in that fourth quarter and was holding his own pretty nicely. And the reason why for that was because, the Clippers defense felt like that he could stay in front of the Jeremy Grants, the Denny Avdias of the world when that happened, and Kawhi could take, because they weren't playing a center at the time. So there's no problem there. But I thought my favorite part of the game was that Kawhi closed it with authority. That turnaround over the right shoulder, that floater going to his right. Love to see that. And there was a stat, Kawhi had 30 and 10 in this game. There was a stat that since we got Kawhi, when he scores 30 or more, we're 54 and 13. And that's huge. And it totally backs my point up of, we need Kawhi Leonard to be aggressive. The best version of the Clippers is playing through Kawhi and having him shoot 20-plus shots a game. He's one of those guys that I don't care if he's ball hogging or shooting a lot. I encourage it because I've criticized him in those 2 Denver series that we've lost since we've had him for not shooting enough. So we win it 114 to 107. Really solid win, especially given that we did trail by double digits at one point, with the Blazers' largest lead being 12. We held them to 37% shooting. And I think part of that was really solid defense, but also they're not a very good offensive team. But it's all about when we score. We shot 55% in the game, 39% from three, whereas they shot 37% and 27%. But they got to the foul line 19 times more than we did. They were 28 for 34 at the line, which is good for 82%. We were 14 for 15 at the line, which is great, 93%. But 19 free throws less than them, that makes a difference. So, I mean, shit. The free throws and the turnovers, that's definitely how we kept them in the game. But to win the game, having 24 turnovers is crazy. But we got it done. I mean, our offense is just so much better. We just have more firepower than they do. Let's read some of the lines. Jan Hansen only played 4 minutes in this game. He had 2 points, 1 rebound. Matisse Thybulle played 15 minutes. He had 5 points and 3 steals on 2 for 4 shooting and 1 for 2 from 3. Blake Wesley had 6 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover on 2 for 7 shooting, and he was 0 for 1 from 3 and 2 for 3 from the foul line. Chris Murray played 18 minutes, had a donut, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal on 0 for 2 shooting and 0 for 2 from 3. And then Jeremy Grant played 29 minutes off the bench. He's off to a pretty good start to the season. 17 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover on 4 for 10 shooting, 2 for 5 from 3, and 7 for 9 from the free throw line. They got in totality 30 points off their bench. The Clippers got 39 points off the bench. We won by 7, so you could argue that the bench was the difference in this game. Donovan Clingan played 24 minutes. He almost had a double-double. He had 9 points, 10 boards, 6 of those offensive, 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover on 3 for 6 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep. I'm pretty impressed with his shooting stroke, by the way, Donovan Clingan. I did not know he had that. And he was 2 for 2 from the foul line. Shaden Sharp, horrible shooting game. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 1 dime, 2 steals, 6 turnovers on 7 for 24 shooting, 1 for 9 from 3, and made all 4 of his free throws. My goodness. Not a very good game for Shaden Sharp. Tamani Kamara had 5 points, 2 boards, 4 dimes, 1 steal, no turnovers, but he didn't shoot well either. 2 for 8 from the field, 0 for 3 from deep, and 1 for 2 from the foul line. Denny Avdia had another 20-plus point game, 23 points, 7 boards, 5 dimes, 1 steal, but he turned the ball over 5 times as well. So out of the 16 turnovers that Portland had, Shaden Sharp and Denny Avdia combined for 11 of them. So, yeah, 7 for 16 for Denny, 3 for 7 from 3, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And then Drew Holiday, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 turnovers on 7 for 14 shooting, 3 for 8 from 3, and 4 of 5 on the foul line. Can't lie, I love seeing Drew Holiday in this like veteran role on this team. I think it's just a really interesting role change for him compared to really interesting role change for him compared to what he was with Boston. Those Kawhi falls scared us all, said Bones got busy. Yeah, those Kawhi falls were a little scary. Someone asked, Danny Hong said, Dime, do you remember when I wore the Kim shirt under my CP3 jersey opening night? Yes. Which one are you, Danny? I forget. But anyway, Clippers, but I do remember somebody wearing a Kim shirt under the Chris Paul. Oh, you're the guy that I interviewed after the game, right? With the 2 friends that said Chablo. Is that you? Anyway, for the Clippers, 10 deep, of course. Chris Paul played the least amount of minutes, 11. And he's not going to, I think this is going to be his career low in minutes. He's only averaging 15 right now. And because he's playing with James Harden and behind James Harden, and we don't want them playing together much because of how stagnant it could be and how slow it can be and how bad it is defensively, this is going to be the least amount of minutes that Chris Paul gets in his career. And that's fine. I think he's accepting of that. CP3 had 6 points on those 2 threes, 1 rebound, 2 assists, no turnovers on 2 for 4 shooting, and all his shots were threes. Brook Lopez had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 blocks. He was on the quieter side in this game, but it is really satisfying to have another rim protector. I can't lie. In Brook Lopez after, when Zoo goes to the bench. He was 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 from deep. Nico Batum, Just a very solid night at the office. 3 points, 3 boards, 1 assist, 3 steals, and 2 blocks, and no turnovers. I think that's, Nico in a nutshell right there. 3 steals, 2 blocks, no turnovers on 1 for 3 shooting, and all his shots were threes, of course. Chris Dunn, very solid and efficient start to the season offensively. Right now, he's shooting 53% from the field and 37.5% from three. Is that going to continue? Probably not, but we'll take it for now. 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover on 4 for 6 shooting, and 1 for 3 from deep in his 22 minutes. And the bench player that played the most minutes for us was John Collins with 26. I know a lot of people have been calling for him to start. I am team start John Collins over Bradley Beal, but we're going to need more time for Ty Lue to actually make that kind of a change. He just gives us so much energy. He rebounds. He's aggressive. He's a guy you can throw it to in the dunker spot. He can make threes. He's above the rim. You love what he's brought to the table in these first 3 games. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. He only played 9 minutes in the first quarter. In the first half, and he played 17 in the second half. So a large majority of that second half, which I thought was big time. He ended up closing the game alongside Kawhi, James, Zoo, and I believe Chris Dunn, but it was also Nico as well. But yeah, 16, 6, 1 assist, 2 steals. He did have 4 turnovers, though, so too many turnovers there. Shot 7 for 8 from the field, which is amazing. Made his only 3, made his only free throw. So some really good stuff there. Derrick Jones Jr. was a little bit quieter in this game, but he's been very efficient to start the year, too, and he had some good defensive moments. 22 minutes played for him, 4 points, 2 boards, 1 steal, 1 block, 2 turnovers for DJ on 2 for 3 shooting and missed his only 3. Bogey, a donut, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 turnovers. So he had 5 more turnovers than points. 0 for 4 from the field and 0 for 2 from 3. Did not like what I saw from him, but it's just one game. I believe that he will be back better, hopefully, on Tuesday against Golden State, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, played tonight. Yeah, they played against Memphis. So hopefully, it's tired legs for an old team on the second out of a back-to-back. We can beat them. And we had a lot of success with Golden State last year, especially because they cannot guard Ivica Zubats. Yep, that was you. Okay, cool. Nice to see you in the live, man. And then we got the big 3. They were all awesome. Zubats, 21 points, 8 rebounds, 3 dimes, 2 blocks, and a turnover on 9 for 14 shooting and made all 3 of his free throws. That's more like the Zoo we know. Finishing on the roll with James Harden, putting shots back up in and off the offensive glass or on the offensive glass, feeding him in the post. It was great to see that. And in the first quarter, he missed a couple of tips, so he was really like 9 for 12 because some of those are just like, it's hard to really take them seriously as shot attempts. But James Harden, I thought he was excellent in this game, offensively at least. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 13 assists. He was really diming up. 3 steals, 7 turnovers, though. So that's a lot. He's got to take care of the ball. 6 for 12 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3. So again, another very solid game for him inside the arc. He was 4 for 5 inside the arc, 6 for 7 from the free throw line, which was the most free throw attempts, of course, on our team. And then my player of the game, Kawhi Leonard. 2 straight games where he's looked like Kawhi after that abomination against Utah. I don't know what that was, but 30 and 10 for him, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. You love to see him taking care of the ball. You also love to see the 30 and 10. Then how about the 21 shot attempts? It was exactly the same shooting splits, field goals attempted as the Phoenix game. 11 for 21. Incredibly efficient. 20 plus shots. You love to see that. That's what I want to see. 4 for 6 from 3, though. He was, I believe, 1 for 4 from 3 he was against Phoenix, but he was 4 for 6 from 3. It's just amazing how efficient Kawhi can be sometimes with the shots that he takes. It's like his jump shot has improved so much since he came into the league. It's absolutely insane. And he made all 4 of his free throws. So solid win. We should be 3-0 right now, but whatever. If we can beat Golden State, because I said that we were going to lose that game just because I was trying to be like, not too much of a homer. If we can win that game, then all is forgiven, really. And we're 3-1. And I predicted us to be 3-1 in these first 4 games, but it is an away game, so it won't be easy. 8:00 start. That's the latest I've ever seen an NBA game start. 8:00 Pacific. I don't know if we'll be live to talk about it, but I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow night directly after the game, because especially with this Dodgers shit, and I might be seeing someone. So we'll see. Appreciate everybody, man. Have a great night, everyone. Peace, and let me know what you think of what you thought of the video in the comment section. Go Dodgers. Freddie Freeman, build that fucking statue right now. Peace. And also remember to be a member of this channel if you want more content. There's a members only live every Wednesday at noon that I'm inviting fans on to talk about. I'll also be talking about other teams around the league, and you'll be entitled to special perks. And if you are a fan of any team that I do post-game interviews at, you can skip the line at the interviews if you're a member. So appreciate that. And also, if you just want to support your boy, and by the way, members will have all their comments read no matter what, because sometimes there's just so many messages in the chat. I'm not reading every single one anymore. I'm sorry, but appreciate my boy Danny Sanchez here. Zoo is a monster against Golden State. He said, dude, I was tripping. 8 p.m. start. And yeah, guys, so we'll see. Yeah, I probably will be live tomorrow at some point, but go Dodgers. And hopefully I get my Twitter account back, man. That hack shit is pissing me off. Peace, and everybody have a great day. Go Dodgers. Go Clippers.